Hello Tamers, are you tired of not having enough Pansuns or feathers? With this guide I will show you how to get these currencies. At the endgame you will need Pansuns and feathers for everything. You want that perfect Temtem? Pay for it. You want that radar? Use feathers. So, let's see what we can do to farm it. There are multiple methods to get Pansuns and feathers, some are repeatable and some are daily or weekly. In the next minutes I will present you the main methods to get these resources and my recommendation in which are the best ones. The first one is the Postal Service. This activity is a system of daily quests that can be picked up from the post office in the city of Uhuru in Kisiwa. Once inside, players can speak to the post office manager and tell her they are looking for a job. She'll assign 1 to 3 different delivery quests for different NPCs in the world. After completing all of these quests, the player can return to the post office manager to receive some Pansuns and items. In order to locate all of the NPCs, you can use the map of official Postal Service website, the link is in the description, where you type the name of the NPC and it shows where it is. Every week, the Nuru Lodge will hold a competition in order to find a Koish with a specific subtype and specific physical features. You can look at your Koish of the week at the board or show your caught Koish to the Nuru Lodge receptionist. Matching 4 out of 5 possible features will give you a small number of rewards from the designated loot pool. Finding a Koish with 5 out of 5 possible features will give you a moderate or large number of rewards from the designated loot pool. Each reward can be collected once per week. Finding a Koish with the 5 features directly will give you both of the rewards. Finding a 5-feature Koish is guaranteed after reaching 500 Koish battles during the same week, or 200 if the player has a Koish lure. Obtained after finding the 4-feature Koish. The Tamer Pass is a challenge that unlocks various customization options by gaining Tamer Pass experience. Rewards are split between a free track, which all players have access to, and a premium track, which costs 2,000 to unlock for the season. This season pass has 4 free and 4 premium weekly quests that can be done. Each quest will give different rewards depending on the difficulty of the quests. The next activity that can be done weekly is the Freetem, located next to the breeding center of Omninesia. The Freetem coordinator will specify 4 randomly selected Temtem species for the player to release and will reward 35,000 Pansuns and 300 feathers for each full group released. This activity is probably the main activity that can be done weekly. Dojo leaders can be rematched once per week each. These rematches take place under competitive rules. There are 2 modes. An easier rematch named as Casual, with the Dojo Masters Tems having reduced levels, SVs, and TVs. If the player wins, they are rewarded with 3,200 Pansuns. If you complete this mode you can still complete the next one. And the Disciple mode, where if the player wins, the number of Pansuns and feathers they are rewarded with depends on how many attempts it took, going down 10% for each loss, to a minimum payout of 3,680 Pansuns and 40 feathers. Another way to make Pansuns is breeding perfect Tems or Luma eggs and sell them to the auction house. This method is not recommended for new players since you will need to invest large amounts of Pansuns at the beginning. This method is one of the few that are repeatable. Complete a Mythical Lair to receive resources after defeating the Mythical Temtem. The rewards will be different depending on the mode selected. In the 5-man mode you will receive on average a profit of 6,500 Pansuns and 200 feathers each run. In this channel I have a video explaining all you need to know about this activity. I leave you the link to the video. Winning PvP battles will give some rewards and also will complete the daily and weekly quests. The rewards from the quests will change depending on your current rank. The higher the rank you are, the better are the rewards. In the case you want to farm feathers, besides the ones explained earlier, we have a few more. All of them are done in the Tamer's Paradise. In this zone, you can collect weekly 1 free token for each activity. The activities you can do are the following ones. The Evershifting Tower will create a labyrinth with a random layout of rooms and floors to explore each time it's played, full of hostile Holotamers, wild Temtem, and loot. The player is not permitted to take any of their own Temtem items or gear into the tower, and is instead given a choice of Temtem to begin their ascent with. The player progresses by seeking out a main Tamer on each floor, indicated by the star icon above their head and on the map. There are 3 floors in total, with the ladder on the final floor being replaced with a large chest that awards the victorious with 930 feathers. The Archtamer's Sanctum is a solo activity. The activity is free to attempt, however, the rewards can only be collected once per week. The player will engage each Archtamer with a competitive squad in a random order gauntlet. Note that the same squad must be used for all 4 battles, and that the player cannot use showdown teams, similar to Dojo Rematches. If the player loses any battle, they must restart the activity from the beginning. If the player successfully defeats the 4 Archtamers, they will earn up to 900 feathers. In the Temsafari, an infinite horde of untamed Temtem will continually attack the player. Defeating them will grow the player's score, and the encountered Temtem will be increasingly higher levels as more spawn. The player never leaves battle, and a new Temtem will take the place of another on the turn immediately after it is defeated. The game ends when the player runs out of all usable Temtem. Getting a higher score will award the player with an increasing number of feathers. The Draftarena will loan Temtem for the player to use, and they are not permitted to use their own Temtem. The game starts with giving the player a selection of 4 random Temtem of level 100, and 4 random gear items. The player must pick a Temtem from the provided list, as well as a provided gear to equip to the chosen Temtem. Once a Temtem and its gear are chosen, the list of provided Temtem and gear will randomize again, and the player must choose another Temtem and gear. This will repeat until the player picks 4 Temtem to fill their party. NPC Holotamers will enter from the doorway in front of the player, challenging the player to a battle. Both Tamers will use 4 Temtem. If the player is victorious, their feather reward will increase. The player then has the choice to leave with their winnings, or continue battling for more feathers. The game will end once the player leaves with their winnings, or is defeated by an NPC. In which case, they will walk out with less feathers than if they had left on their own. The rewards are the following ones. In the GritArena, the player brings a squad of 6 Temtem with gears. They are not allowed to bring in on the rotating list of 60 banned Temtem. NPC Holotamers will enter from the doorway in front of the player, challenging the player to a battle. Each successful battle will give the player the choice to leave with their winnings, or continue battling for more feathers. The game will end once the player leaves with their winnings, or is defeated by an NPC. In which case, they will walk out with less feathers than if they had left on their own. The rewards are the following ones. Finally, we have the Digilairs. This activity is a 2-player co-op activity. The Digilair comprises 2 lanes, one for each player, which follows the format of the 5-player lair required for Mythical Temtem. Each lane comprising 20 steps plus the final boss battle. The players select the difficulty for the Digilair by selecting difficulty modifiers for 5 categories with difficult scaling from 0 to 4 for each. The players also select a Temtem egg which they would like as the reward if the Digilair is completed. A multiplier based on the difficulty selected is applied to the chosen Temtem, which has a base rate determined by the wild spawn rate of the Temtem. Higher difficulty rewards the player with an increased Luma ratio, increased chance of egg techniques, higher minimum SVs, and increased feathers for the successful completion. With Digilairs you can farm the Luma Temtem Anahir, which eggs, if breed with another Luma, can go from 100k to 150k on the auction house. After having seen the different types of Pansun and feather farming, my recommendations for Pansun farming are: do the 8 Dojo Rematches. Do the daily and weeklies PvP quests. Do the Postal Service daily and sell the items on the auction house. Some items can give you 10,000 Pansuns or more. Do the Freetem, but only the ones that requires few releases. Spam Mythical Lairs since you can do how many you want. And for the feathers, I recommend to do Archtamers, Evershifting Tower, GritArena or Draftarena, the one that suits better for you. The most efficient one is the Evershifting Tower, but if you don't like it, you can do the other 2. PvP dailies and weeklies. And Mythical Lairs since are repeatable and don't cost any resource. Thanks for watching the video, see you soon.